Howdy. What you looking for? Oh. Okay. So, this is a Will It Run? Alright, okay. Alright, let's, your jaws are probably dropping like, what the hell? This is, alright, okay, let's get into this. So what I have here is a Sony VAIO. This is a Sony VAIO sub notebook with the dock. I don't recall if these are sold with an optional dock or if this was included on every one, but I actually know who the original owner was, and I'm going to talk about that for a second. So, the institution that I work for, we had an employee who was in a fairly prominent position, and back in like 2000, maybe 2008 or maybe 9 or so, she brought this in to, she wanted to kind of donate it to one of her coworkers for a program they were running. And at the time, we're like, yeah, all right, that's fine. But if it breaks, you know, we're not paying for repairs or anything. We're just going to let it go. And everyone was okay with that. This is like in like 2009, 2011, somewhere in that time frame. And I completely forgot about it until today. The position that the person in the position that this was given to for this one, I don't even know what they were using it for, honestly. Well, that person left many years ago and was replaced like twice since then. And I walked into that room just today to solve an issue they were having, and this was sitting on one of the desks, and I asked, I'm like, how, what is going on with this thing? And they said, oh yeah, we don't know anything about it. We don't even know what to do with it. Can you help us figure that out? And I said, absolutely. I will make it disappear. So, because I remember this being a fairly nice machine when it was new. So let's get into what it is. So this is a Sony VAIO. I don't even know what model this thing is. Let's open it up. It is a PCG-R505TS. I don't know what that means in Sony nomenclature, but I do remember seeing these in Circuit City back in around 2003 or so, 2003, 2004. This particular machine is a Pentium 3 with Windows Millennium. Still has its original stickers. This is a pretty cool little laptop. Now, Sony wasn't known for the best built laptops, but the ones that they did make were pretty damn cool. I had a Sony VAIO that I used as a knockaround laptop for several years that I found in the trash. In fact, there's a video on it somewhere in my channel. I'm not sure which one it was, honestly. But when I got it, it still took a charge. It was actually a pretty decent little laptop. And I believe that was a Pentium 4. But this guy falls into the sub-notebook category. And Sony made several versions of these sub-notebooks. This is just one of many. And the sub-notebook genre predated the netbook craze that lasted 5 minutes and then evolved into the Chromebook line that we see today. Sub-notebooks they have more in common with our modern laptops than they do with anything else. They were basically stripped down notebooks that generally required the use of a docking station for anything beyond basic computing. This one, I haven't even detached it from the dock. Let's do that now. I'm gonna hit this on undock and then pull these levers. And does it pull forward? What do I do here? Help me out. There we go. Now it's undocked. Okay, that's pretty cool. So the laptop itself has a Windows Millennium sticker on it. Here's the removable battery pack. There are no drives. And that's what made it a sub notebook. No drives of any kind. It had at one point had a door here to cover the Ethernet and modem. Yeah, it has a modem. Yeah, like that. But for its time, this would have been a nice little laptop. So somebody paid a lot of money for this. All the rubber feet are completely melted. I can figure something out to replace those, though. I'm not too worried about that. I'll get some adhesive rubber strips or something. But they're melted into into the base. Oh my god. Look at that. It's all like, look at this. It's just nothing left to it. Oh, that's so sad. Hold on, let me get a rag. But yeah, Sony laptops and desktops, the VAIO line, they use the VAIO name for both laptops and desktops, which is kind of interesting. They were, dare I say this, but the VAIO line had the same place in the market that MacBooks do today, Apple products in general. They were billed as kind of a premium option, I believe. They did have some low-end models, but they were the sexiest machines on the market. They had some very cool features. They were some of the first ones to have built-in memory card readers. This one has, it should have a memory stick card. Yeah, there it is. It has a memory stick card reader right there. Looks like a VGA port right there. Let me get the light over here. There's a VGA port. It's got a USB, would have been USB 1.0. It's got two of those, one on each side. It has FireWire. Built-in modem, built-in Ethernet. Those are kind of pretty standard by the time this was made. It would have been like around 2000, maybe 2002. This is pre-Windows XP, so I'm thinking 2000 or give or take. Millennium Edition came out around Y2K. Oh, of course it did, because it's Millennium Edition. But yeah, I mean, for what it was, I mean, these laptops had a lot of alloy and magnesium and a lot of metal in them. They were not a. I mean, all the ones that I've seen in my life have been pretty decent. So the dock. Let's talk about the dock for a second. Now, I don't know what the specs are in any of this. I haven't looked anything up. So just to get that out of the way, the dock looks like it has a port for the fan, but it doesn't have its own cooling fan. I thought maybe it did, but it has a duct for the cooling fan. It has, I see these two metal pins. Those could be for power. Do they line up? What they do? Yeah, they do. So I imagine that is for power. So it must apply power directly to those screw holes, potentially. Or it could be for thermal conductivity. I don't know. That's a good question to ask the engineering department. Yeah, right. I got this gunk all over my hands. WD-40, by the way. Don't go fancy. WD-40 takes this shit right off. This one actually has a DVD-ROM CDRW drive. Now, the person who bought this knew. I know this person. And she is the kind of individual who will drop the... Well, she'll drop a pay... she made really good money. She would drop thousands of dollars on a laptop every couple of years. Every 2 or 3 years, she had to have... She was one of my highest maintenance people. Every time Apple released a new model, she tried to get my director to order her a new one, and we all agreed, no, that's not going to happen. But she was a high maintenance person. Good person, just very high maintenance. But she would have no problem dropping at the time. She probably paid $3,000 for this thing. Floppy drive on the other side of the dock. Now, these are all non-removable. These are built into the dock. I've never really seen a dock quite like this one before. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to get rid of this gooey crap before it gets all over everything I own. I'll be right back. So there's two chemicals that I use on a regular basis. You all must know by now, I am a Windexaholic. I use Windex for everything. But for everything else, there's WD-40. The thing is, I don't use WD-40 as a lubricant. That's the one thing it's not good for. It's more of a cleaner solvent, not a lubricant though. I used to laugh when my friends, when I was growing up, they lubricate their bike chains with WD-40. Like, you suckers. My daddy gave me a bottle of oil for that. Of course, nobody uses oil anymore. They use dry lube. There's dry lubricants for bicycle chains. Anyway, why are we talking about bicycles? So, yeah, the person who owned this laptop, now this was her personal property. This was nothing that was owned by my employer, ever. It was more or less given to them, and we're like, yeah, no, this is going in the trash. I'm the trash, by the way. I am the trash can that this went to. I was not gonna let this thing die. In fact, when she had it, I offered to buy it from her. I said, I'll buy that from you. And she said, oh, no, they need it for this thing. I'm like, okay. No worries. And I completely forgot about it. Let's just remove as much of this gum as we can. Now these pads are, yeah, those are next to go. So what we're going to do for this is I'm going to start looking for thin rubber sheets that can be cut and molded into whatever I want. I have a 3D printer, but I can't print rubber with it, so that's not going to happen. I could print plastic pads that could take up the dimensions. I don't want this to slide on my desk. I don't want it to get scratched. This has got a beautiful finish. Had a beautiful finish. Hold on. I'm going to put it in my arms like a baby. Oh gosh, this towel's ruined. That's what they're there for. Alright. The adhesive is still there, like, what? Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad that the rubber they used just disintegrated. Not an uncommon issue, though. Not for this time period, though. Now, you might be thinking that this laptop was made during capacitor gate, and you wouldn't be wrong. But I believe Sony had better suppliers than some of the other industry folk. They're a Japanese company, so they probably did a better job with that. This laptop was actually made in Japan, which is pretty unusual. Not many laptops ever came out of Japan, at least not in any recent time period. Alright, so we got all the gooey gumdrops off of there. And we'll clean it up a little better later. Alright. Okay. Oh, what a beautiful laptop this was. See, nowadays, everyone's trying to out-Apple Apple. There's one scuff right here. That's it. That's the only real blemish it has. Just one little scuff. A little WD-40 on that lid. Oh, beautiful. Alright, so there's, once you got it cleaned up, this finish starts to come back to life. The rear ones too. Look at that. Oh, God, I'll just take them all off. Oh, what a... so sad. So sad. You can't buy these anymore. I mean, so let's talk about what happened to the VAIO line. As the profit margins on desktop and laptop computers just started kind of disappearing, Sony ended up, I believe they sold the VAIO line to a competitor or to another company, and I think it died a quiet death. Kind of like how HP quietly set Compact out to sea. You know, one of the few technology mergers, sales, acquisitions, whatever you want to call it, that really upsets me and hurts me to the core was the IBM sale of their PC division to Lenovo. And I to this day, it hurts me because, you know, I've always had a thing for the ThinkPad line, and when I was younger, I always wanted to buy a ThinkPad, and I just didn't have the money to do it, and I do now, and I can't buy one. Well, I did buy one. You might be thinking, what the hell are you talking about? You bought a ThinkPad. Yes, I did buy a ThinkPad, and I sold that ThinkPad because I hated it. That T480 was the worst the second worst laptop I've ever owned. I feel that if IBM was still in control, still had the company and its best interests in mind, or not the company, but the product line, things would have been a little different. And I probably would have paid more for that ThinkPad than I ended up paying for it. But that's okay. I don't mind paying for quality. It's when companies like Apple, for example, yes, I'm going to shit on Apple again, when they're peddling really subpar quality at high quality prices, I have a problem with that. I do. Anyway, back to the Sony. The Sony VAIO really was one of the last, in my opinion, and I'm very opinionated, one of the last truly great laptop product lines, or computer product lines, period. And I know you guys are all like shaking your heads, scratching your heads. I get it. They weren't well loved. But what Sony did with their industrial design was unique for its time. I mean, just look at how this thing sits on the desk. I mean, this looks like nothing from HP or Compaq or Dell. And again, they were more of a premium laptop aimed at premium buyers. In fact, I believe executives were buying these up for their own use. But the quality of the VAIO is pretty decent. It feels like a quality laptop. I've worked on thousands of laptops in my career. I've mostly repairs. And I've used them, I've owned them. I've made videos about laptops, and I've always had a thing for the VAIOs. I really have. The quality of the keyboard, for example. The one that I had a couple years back, it had one of the nicest keyboards I ever had on a laptop. And I pulled it out of the trash and got 4 more years out of it. And I used it for it was a knock-around machine. I used it for ADT Pro. I used it for testing and transferring old software. I took it traveling. I brought it to Dayton, Ohio with me. It was a good laptop. So now that I've yammered on for, 15, 20 minutes, you're probably wondering if this thing actually works. And so am I. Fortunately, I got the power supply. It was in the drawer with this laptop where it was found. Thank God. Because it's a very unique power supply. It's not like any other. Similar, but not the same. So we're going to plug it into the dock over here and see if we get any action. I don't see any lights come on. That's not good. It's plugged in. Dock's plugged in. Laptop's... Oh, is it docked? Oh, wait. I have a light on the dock. DC in. Alright. Let's give her a shot. Battery light is flickering as it should. Battery's toast. Here we go. Ready? Ooh. Ooh. Hear that drive? That hard drive? Let's turn this off. Got that nice Sony logo on startup. Talk to you guys over here. Hey, we got a dead clock battery. Yep. Let's see. Mouse. Check some bad F1 to resume. There's a CD in the drive. It has Windows, looks like Windows 2000 on it. And it has somebody's account on it. I wonder if it's running Windows XP. So it doesn't have its factory OS. It works. Wow. Holy crap, it works. It really works. So it's got some Look at that screen. All right. Okay, let me tilt this towards you guys. You can't appreciate this on camera, but aside from the dark spot here, which is pretty normal, this is a CFL, a compact fluorescent, not compact, it's a cold cathode non-LED backlight. So you won't have equal lighting on this, but there is a little bit of a dark spot, but it goes away when you tilt it back. That's pretty typical for these. But that is a nice display. Good color. Sony always had, I think they had the pick of the litter when it came to components for these laptops. But whoever owned this, bet you they left all their stuff on here. First confessions. Yeah. I don't know. They took all their pictures off, thankfully. That's good. But she's a runner. That she is. Nice feel on the trackpad, and I like, this is a Sony VAIO thing, but they have a scrolling wheel on their laptops. A scrolling wheel. That is so nice. And it clicks. It acts as a third mouse button. These were fantastic machines. I don't care what anybody says. Nice feel, the mouse buttons. Nice, solid click. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful feel in that. Let's see. We got a Pentium 3 844 with 256 megabytes of RAM. I bet you we can upgrade that a little bit. We'll have to pull it apart maybe in a future video or something, and we'll try to upgrade that. But Pentium 3, 256, actually that's fine for a Pentium 3, that's not too bad. It's running Service Pack 3 XP. Any missing drivers? Well, let's see, hardware device manager. Let's see if there's any missing drivers, because usually there's going to be a situation like this. Modem port is disabled. Controllerless modem port. We'll put enable. See if it turns on. Let's see. We're going to restart it. That dark spot on the screen is going away. Again, the cold cathode fluorescent backlights do have a warm up period. Imagine that. Imagine that warm up period on your laptop backlight. Once again, this is a PCG-R505TS. I'm going to look up some info on this while it's restarting. R505TS. Let's see what we got. Alright, I got some marketing info on it. Intel Pentium 3 850, speed step, of course. It weighs 3.75 pounds. A 12-inch XGA TFT. Looks like it's got 2 different installs of XP for some reason. Well, I'm probably going to rebuild it anyway. Base has 128 megs of RAM and a 20 gig hard drive. Let's see if that original 20 gig is still in that sucker. Let's see. High capacity lithium ion, Magic 8 memory stick, shared video memory, up to 11 megabytes, center jog dial scrolling function. So that's what they call that. And is there a copyright on this info? Optional slim dock. So the dock is that is an option, not an included feature. Let's see. Trying to find a rough estimate as to when it might have been built. Let's see. This file seems to be from around 2001. So I wonder if I can still find drivers. Still, it looks like Sony might still have a driver site for this sucker. There are no downloads for this product. Oh, yeah, Sony pulled all the downloads. So maybe we shouldn't rock the boat on that. If I can find them, I'll download them all while I still can. Ah, it looks like I might have found them from SonyVAIODriver.com. They're probably viruses, but you know. Yeah, it's kind of spammy, scummy. So we might be out of luck. Driver stock. Windows Millennium, BIOS. Let's see if I can even do this. Still loading? Yeah. JQVA. Uh-oh. Not found. 404. Alright, so I guess what I'm saying is if we ever have to reload this machine, we're probably shit out of luck. And that's not a good thing. Yeah. I wonder if that drive failed on us. It's still hung. So yeah, I bet if I did some digging, I could totally find what I'm looking for. Unless somebody had the foresight to download them to the machine while they still could, and I might be able to pull those files if the drive is still functional. There's something in the CD drive. I want to see what it is. Where's the button? There it is. Lexia. Phonics-based reading from 2002. Well, that's trash. Sorry, this is mostly fake driver stuff. Driversdownloader.com. Yeah. Well, this thing is hung. I might have to do a safe boot on it and see what the hell it's doing. Crap. Kill it. That hard drive sounds like it might be the original 20 gig drive. I just know that sound. So let's do a safe boot. F5. The fan sounds healthy. What killed the one I had, the old VAIO, was the fan. Not that it died, it just made the worst noise imaginable, and I didn't have the heart to fix it. I just said, you know, it's done. It's done its job, and it's time to let go. Time to let go. Notice the lack of webcam. Sony did release a version of this laptop later on in the product life cycle that had a webcam. I think it was a different model, but they did update these as the times changed. Administrator. Looks like nobody set passwords on this thing. Can you believe it? Nobody set passwords. Yeah. Wow, system restore was enabled, I think. Maybe, possibly, could have been. So what I want... Hear that fan? It's like, what are you doing to me? I've been sleeping for 10 freaking years. Alright, let's take a look in my computer. I bet you there's a folder somewhere full of drivers. Yeah, it's got 2 volumes on it. Why? Why even have a... Ooh, 62 megabytes, 11 gigs, free. They divided this drive into 2. Not even. Huh. 8 gigs. So 20... No, that's 18 gigs. Yeah, okay, so that's about right. That's crazy. Drive D has nothing in it. Local disk C, my pictures. I got stuff. Is there anything in there? Still loading. Show me the toolbars. So what more do you guys want in these videos? I don't know. It's an old laptop. I thought it was kind of cool. That's phonics stuff. We can get rid of that. I'm looking for like a Sony folder. No, that's all reading crap. I don't think this thing even has I don't think it even has the Sony drivers installed. This looks like it might be just a bare bones Windows XP install. I'm not seeing any evidence. See, I like to find laptops that still have their factory OS because it's like a time capsule. But this one was rebuilt with Windows XP, which I don't blame them for doing. I mean, that's just the smart thing to do. But unfortunately, I wonder if that modem was what killed me. There's a driver folder for the V90 modem. And that's about it, Jack. Let's see. Let's go back into devices. Yeah, this thing doesn't have any Sony stuff loaded. So, well, let's try a restart. Let's give that a try. For those of you who insist on bringing this up every time I talk about a vintage computer, I am not paying for an SSD conversion for this. Let me just get that out of the way. Not going to happen, bub. Ever. I have dozens of much bigger hard drives just kicking around doing nothing. I might just throw one in, maybe a 60 or 100. I might even have some brand new ones just sitting in the package. IDE drives that are just not being used. We'll do another video on this where we try to look at what kind of upgrades might be available for this. The only thing it's missing is the port door on the back of the dock. That is missing. The cover for the modem and Ethernet jack is also missing. Par for the course. That's not a good sign. You hear that? It means the sound card's not working. And it's frozen again. So I think what I'm going to do on this guy is I might even put Windows Millennium back on. I have a copy of Windows Millennium Edition. Okay, you know what would be a better choice? Windows 2000 Pro Service Pack 4. I don't recall if that disk works, but I'm going to damn well try. It's still trying to load. I don't think it's going to get anywhere. I'm about to go to bed. It's kind of late. So, what else can I tell you? This is probably one of the cleanest ones I'll ever find, and all I gotta do is make new feet for it. I think I can handle that. Question is, where can I get some self-adhesive rubber? I don't know where to find that. I'm really serious. I'm thinking I don't know where to find that. I'm thinking possibly bad clusters. I should do a check disc on it. Let's just do that real quick. This isn't like Windows 10 where you shut it off 3 times and it forces it. So we're going to do an F8 boot. And we're going to get up the boot menu and we're going to run check disk. The last thing I did was I enabled that modem driver. Maybe that was causing it to freeze. Oopsies. Alright, so we're going to do... Can I just do command prompt? No? Oh yeah, it's Windows XP. Enable boot, enable EGA. Let's see, which one should I do? Let's see. Last known good. So in theory that should load with the modem driver disabled, if my memory serves me. So let's see what it does. Yeah. So that fan is responding not to temperature, but it's responding to CPU load. Let's see what's going to happen. Welcome. You've got mail. Are these all rubber done? No, these are still good. It was just the pink ones. They're the pink ones. The little the periwinkle colored ones that are all melted. It was the modem driver, my friends. So that is the problem. Listen to this thing scream. Okay. In 2001, I just want to emphasize something. In 2001, what was constituted as a luxury laptop or a high-end laptop for the business professional or the upwardly mobile consumer was different from what it is today. Today's laptops are virtually silent. In the case of the MacBook Air, it is dead silent. The new one, fanless design. So a laptop that cost like $3,000 that made noises and sometimes didn't boot up, that was actually that was okay. That met the needs of the upwardly mobile consumer and the yuppie on the go. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Like I said, there is no magic folder with Sony drivers like I was hoping for. These updates ready for this computer. Does this thing have Wi-Fi? I didn't even think to look. No, it doesn't. There's no way it does. If it had Wi-Fi, it would have like Wi-Fi embossed in big letters across the side. You know, that brings up an interesting point. We haven't seen a laptop that doesn't have Wi-Fi in a long time on this channel. Not one from modern times. This is like the end of the Wi-Fi-less laptop. In fact, I don't even think it was an option on this particular model. If you wanted a Wi-Fi, let me tell you what you had to do. If you wanted Wi-Fi on this laptop, you would take... This is a dinosaur. Actually bought this guy new in box back in 08. I bought this in 08 or earlier, maybe 07. It was a leftover. You take this 802.11b wireless LAN card and you'd slide it into here. That's your Wi-Fi. A lot of you youngins, you've never seen a laptop without Wi-Fi, and well, I hope old Grandpa BBISHOPPCM can take you to school, so to speak. Oh man, what a time to be alive! No Wi-Fi, and in a sub notebook, in an ultra portable luxury yuppie grade laptop, no Wi-Fi. Oh, but it has real status indicator lights. They don't even make those anymore for some stupid ass reason. Where's scroll lock? Oh, there's scroll lock. Look at that, all these little status lights. You can't even see that. How about now? How about now? There you go. Look at those status lights. Remember status lights? Ah, I miss those days. I miss those status. You know, Apple was the only company, I believe, that has never actually had a hard drive light on anything but maybe I think they had them on some of the towers. The Quadras, I think, had a hard drive light, but maybe the Centris or the Quadra, one of those. I don't even think the Mac 2 had a hard drive indicator. Apple has never been a big fan of indicator lights. They just expect it to work, and it never breaks. What, are you kidding me? It's like a Rolls Royce with the hood welded shut. It never breaks. You never need to open that hood. You don't need to know that disk is being accessed. What are you, a PC user? Well, status lights matter. They do. I'm going to paint SLM on the side of a building and see if anybody can figure out what it means. But status lights were important. Sony knew that. That's why they put them all over the machine. You have a light for hard drive activity, caps lock, num lock, scroll lock, power, battery charge status, memory stick with Magic Gate access, and you also have one to tell you it's docked. Which brings me to my next point. If this had the Sony drivers loaded, which it doesn't, it might have some basic functionality, but let's just see what it does. So before you haul off and undock this machine, you have to see this little button here. I'm going to zoom in on that. Dock, or I'm sorry, undock. Hit undock, and it switches the laptop to an undocked profile. So it's telling me that the batteries are fried and that it won't run off its own battery because obviously the thing's been sitting for years. But it says the computer cannot eject at this time. There will be no remaining power. But if we had a functioning battery, which we don't, then it would actually proceed to prepare to be undocked. So it changes the hardware profile, it disconnects the CD and floppy drive and any other features that might be connected to the dock, and you just take these two little levers and the whole thing pops off the dock and you take it to the yacht that is idling in the marina next to you. Yeah. Where you will board the yacht and enjoy magnificent tunes by bands such as Orleans, Steely Dan, Michael McDonald. Yeah. What a life. After your 2-day, 3-day cruise, you'll come back, you plunk down your Sony VAIO, I almost said ThinkPad, and you'll begin where you left off. Then you'll put the laptop to sleep, or shut it down. Ugh. Ugh. Those speakers, they sound terrible. They do. So once the machine shuts down, you grab the key to your 2003 BMW 7 Series, with the bangle trunk and go home. And on that note, I'm going to bed. Good night. Looks like he's beat me to it. Good little guy. Look at the little guy. Oh. Look at the little Oreos. His chair, that's his chair, you know. He's the only one. Well, him and his brother, they share that chair. As you can clearly tell. Look at the little guy. Isn't he cute? Aw. I don't want to wake him up. But I must. Hey, he wakes me up in the middle of the night. You know what he did to me the other day? He doesn't do this to Amelia, he does it to me, only me, not Amelia. Wants nothing to do with her. He wants to be with me all the time. I'm sound asleep, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody jammed a needle into my foot. Take a guess as to who that might have been. Yeah. Let's say hi to Oreos, shall we? Look at your nose. Oreo's nose. Hey, buddy boy. Hey, purring. Nice teeth. Bad breath. Ugh. He is such a spoiled little cat. Yes, he is. All right. Bedtime for me. I mean it. All right. Good night. Why, yes, I bought a new laptop. I bought a Sony VAIO. What do you have? A compact? Huh. Right.